Hi, good morning. I'm trying to link this video to my Facebook page so I can see comments, but it's not doing what I want it to do. Not to mention, I accidentally shared this on one of my other Facebook pages. Maybe I'll get some new followers on this page. Who knows? But I wanted it to, you know, how videos, what's happening, but it's not doing that. So, if you comment on my Facebook page, I will catch it later. Otherwise, if you have a YouTube account, then I'll be able to see your comment on the YouTube. So, what a weekend so far. Oh, this thing. Went to the Amish store yesterday and I could have spent $500 there. There's no question. I mean, I'd had to get the other freezer out of the barn for all the meat, because that's what I would have bought, was meat. A jerky gun. And let me see here. I'm going to do something here. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, and I had a pound of Italian sausage. This is good. I knew it would be good. I knew it would be really good. It's probably not very good with my coffee, but it is so good. I didn't even do anything to it. Well, no. After I, put it out on the racks, I ever so slightly sprinkled it with Himalayan salt. It's so good. It tastes like pepperoni. So anyway, I really wish I could keep track of the Facebook. But the thing about my going lives is it only goes on Facebook. It doesn't go on my YouTube channel. So that's the only issue with that. And I wish, I wonder, bear with me. I don't think there's anybody on here yet anyway. Let's see. I just wonder, their video is already playing. And that way I could see what you guys are seeing and get your comments, because I know a lot of you aren't on YouTube or don't do YouTube on the reg. But, maybe if I go to my home page. So I'm pretty excited. Nikki's home. And I forgot to ask her if she has... Oh, you know what? I need to share it. That's the problem. If she remembered my camera. Oh, well. Hopefully she did. And I can quit using this dumb camera. I don't know. I don't think the camera's so bad. If anything, the laptop's bad. Lord, this laptop. Which, though, my son is getting a new computer this week. He's going to give me his old one, which is a tons better. No. I mean, I wish they would just connect already. I mean, I don't know what it is with YouTube and Facebook. I mean, just link up already. Money, probably. Probably money. So, we're having the big spaghetti dinner today. I guess the only ones coming is Nick or Megan and the kids. Thing is spaghetti and strawberry shortcake. Oh, it's gonna be good. I had bought some cantaloupe too when I went to the store Thursday. It smelled like summertime. I needed I think we all needed a big fruit infusion, you know. This winter's just gone on too long. We're usually outside by now. At least some. At least by now I've usually gone out and done my initial yard pickup from the winter. And it just hasn't been that way. I mean, today it's storming all day. All day. Yeah, see, it's not even doing it if I, because if I click on it, it just goes to YouTube. And I don't really want that because I'm wanting to get your comments. So, anyway. So if you comment, I'll just have to catch it later. So I got to clean all these strawberries. And if it doesn't thaw out by after the party, I'm going to be sticking it in the bathtub because I got to can that shit up tonight. I got freaking potentially. So I'm thinking about giving my daughter a bag of it. So that still leaves me 30 pounds of chicken to get. Now, I'm not going to can all of it. I know I'm going to bag some of it up and just throw it in the freezer, but my freezer is just not big enough for all of it. So, I think I'm just going to can, whole pieces. I really do. I think that's the easiest route. I had thought about cooking some up for meat, you know, shredded off the bone meat, and getting broth as well. And I may do that just because I do need the broth. I think I'm down to 1 jar down there, so I may still do that. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking easy, get it canned up on the bone, done. But I think I better get the roaster down, and I'll throw a bag in there, 10 pounds, and we'll can up some meat, and that way I can get the broth off of it. But then the other, I'm just going to can on the bone, in the jar, dry, raw pack. There's Mary Greeley. I tell you what, Mary Greeley, Marygreeley. She is the go-to channel for news on Yellowstone. She is hooked up to all the graphs and all the stuff and knows exactly what's going on with earthquakes too around the area. I mean, last week, the New Madrid, Lord, the New Madrid went off twice. Not very much. I think there were one, what do they call them? Whatever the strength of it was, 1 and 2. So they weren't giant. But I'm telling you, twice last week, I felt one of them. And Steve calls me at work about the other one. He claims they're blasting over here at the quarry. But I don't know that they're doing that this time of year with this stuff on the ground. I almost think we kind of maybe felt something. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't getting active. And somebody asked me last week if I thought that was because of this grand solar minimum. And no, I do not think it's because of that. If anything, it's because of the pole shift. Really got to figure out why I get these notifications every time somebody I'm subscribed to posts a video. I don't know. My Lord. Rare 2.6 earthquake that shook part of Florida caused by the South Georgia rift. That was yesterday. That was yesterday. And I came across this awesome website, and I will find it again because I was at work. I will find it again and post it for you, but it basically gives you a real-time, it's a picture of the earth. Well, kind of. You'll see when you go there. And it gives you real-time earthquake data. Real time. And it's kind of crazy how many earthquakes happen. Like, 7-day period. I was like, wow. And, you can really, they create patterns. They create patterns. Like the Ring of Fire. Oh, yeah, it's going off like a line of earthquakes going in that pattern that the Ring of Fire is at as well. So, could be we've got some more active volcanic activity as well. I think Papa's going back to bed. It's so rainy and nasty here right now. It's storming. I just left the pop door open last night. I knew it was going to be raining this morning. And I always let the chickens, there's only been a few times that we've not opened the pop door so they can choose to go out if they want. And that was when it was, I think we were having a blizzard or something. And I knew they weren't going to be going out. But I always open it just, it's their choice. Maybe they want to run out in the rain for a second. I don't know. I'm not them. So I just left it open last night. So they're probably not out because it is raining. But they can go out if they want to. So anyway, yesterday I did my jerky, which I'm going to do that more. I'm going to do more of that. I really like that. But I tell you, a pound, well, that's maybe 4 or so pieces from a pound. So, and see, the thing about jerky, and I hate that, unless you dry it to the stage of which you would make pemmican. And if you don't know what pemmican is, it is when you dry meat till it's so dry you can powder it. Then you mix it with fats and fruit, and it's really high protein, high caloric traveling food, emergency food. So unless you're going to do that, it doesn't store. It just doesn't. You can freeze it, of course, and store it that way. But as far as long-term storage without electricity or without facility, jerky's just not going to store. Because even though it's dried out, it's still fats in it. And that's the one thing I never understood about pemmican, and I've not ever made it yet. But, I mean, forever, and I don't see how that is if it's got lard in it. I have to do some more research on that, because I really do want to try making that one of these times. So, anyway, got my beef jerky done, and then we bought a 10-pound box of cod. Because, that's what you do. Especially when it's $11 a box. So I vac sealed all that up. And that went in the freezer. Oh, canned my firmer cheese. Oh, let me see. I'll grab one here. Yeah. So that turned out pretty awesome. Wished I only had 4 large wide mouths. Um, so the ones that are in the regular canning jars might be tricky to get out. But here's why I did this. Well, number one, I wanted to try it. Okay. Because I've read a lot about it, watched a lot of people do it. So I wanted to give it a go. And if you know, if you're doing the food challenge, the year food challenge, this week's, well, and you know, I do bi-weekly because that's how I get paid, every 2 weeks. So I do 2 weeks at a time. So this time for me was a jar of powdered drink mix and 5 pounds of powdered milk. Well, I already knew I wasn't going to do the powdered drink mix because, okay, here's why. If shit hits the fan, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of drinking a bunch of Kool-Aid. And I guess you don't have to sit around and drink a bunch of Kool-Aid. And some argue that it can be a comfort thing, especially if you have kids involved. You know, them being able to have a cup of Kool-Aid is a sense of normality. Maybe. And I'm not saying that I'm never going to put some Kool-Aid downstairs. I might put some Kool-Aid downstairs. But the freaking 5 pounds of powdered milk, I'm just going to tell you, I couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford it. It was too flippin' expensive. So, and I was gonna switch out with Evap, but then I remembered it doesn't have a very long shelf life, even canned. I know that I have had Evap milk left over from, say, last Christmas to the following Christmas, and it was no good. So that wasn't going to be an option either. So then I remembered all the videos I'd watched about canning cheese. And when we went up to the Amish store, into their cooler, they had like 2 entire walls of cheeses. And they had this farmer's cheese. And I'd read about farmer's cheese, and I knew that if we ever were in a position that we were able to supply our own milk by either goat or cow, farmer's cheese was and mozzarella, which they're very closely related. As far as well, sort of. Anyway, I knew farmer's cheese was probably a cheese that I would make. So I bought it, and it was like a 10-pound log. And it tasted just like a mild cheddar. Mild to a medium cheddar. It was pretty amazing. It was really good. And it had this fresh taste to it. I don't know how to explain it. But it just tasted, if it wasn't like store-bought cheese, it was just better. It just had that dimension of flavor that you're just not going to get. So I decided I would can it. And if that was successful, that's a way for me to put calcium in my stores. So now, am I never going to buy powdered milk? No, I'm not going to say I'm never going to buy powdered milk. I may have to rethink, shop around. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I know that I was looking at all the prepper sites that sell the big cans, and 1 pound of powdered milk is like $20. Anyway, I'll have to figure that out. So we have at least some powdered milk, I guess, in the stores. But supposedly canned cheese, if done properly, will shelf for 5 years. So I'm pretty happy about that. So did that. Canned up that cheese, did my jerky. What else did I do? I guess that's about all I did. Well, we went shopping. Didn't really do much of anything else except for chores. Didn't even get on YouTube. Didn't have time, so I don't even know what is new out there in YouTube land. Oh, I made my toothpaste, and I've been using it. My teeth are just as clean as they were before. A couple of changes I'm going to make, though, in the next batch, and I'm really glad I only made a half a batch because it's too salty. Their amount of salt, it's too much, so I'm going to cut that in half. And it calls for it, and I got the recipe, and I will post it later on my page. But just so you know, here is the full recipe. Okay, this gives you a cup of toothpaste. I made not even hardly half a cup, which that could be why it's so salty, because maybe I didn't get my ratios good enough. But anyway, 1/2 of a cup of organic extra virgin olive oil. And it calls for 1 tablespoon of Himalayan pink salt. Here's what I would do if you go to make this. I would do like maybe a half a, I don't know, maybe a teaspoon. If you do a full 8 ounces, maybe a teaspoon, and then do a taste test after you're done, because you can always add more. Okay, 2 tablespoons of calcium carbonate, 1/2 a cup of baking soda, 1/2 a teaspoon of organic liquid stevia. I just had the powder, so I used that. And 1 tablespoon of peppermint extract or peppermint flavor. I have extract. I grow peppermint out back. So anyway, and listen, the calcium bicarbonate you most certainly can go and buy, but here's what calcium bicarbonate is, guys. Fingernails and shells like snail shells, oyster shells, and egg shells like chicken eggs. Exactly. Don't just, next time you have eggs, throw them to the side so they'll dry out, and then stick them in your, oh, hang on, there's my alarm. Stick them in the coffee grinder like I did with my lemon or my lime zest and my orange zest that I did, and powder them up, and there's your calcium bicarbonate. So anyway, run down again: 1/2 cup coconut oil, 1 tablespoon pink salt, 2 tablespoons calcium carbonate, 1/2 cup baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon liquid stevia, and 1 tablespoon of peppermint extract. So anyway, I like it. I like the taste of it. Mouth felt really clean. I did that oil pulling for a second. Hard, and not the oil pulling itself wasn't hard, but it was hard to take the time to do it and to do it. I mean, it's like to sit down and take 20 minutes was hard for me to do. However, this toothpaste is like a mini oil pulling twice a day. And you could even sit there with it in your mouth and do a full oil pull if you wanted to. So I'm pretty excited about that, because I do believe in the benefits of that. I think it does work. I know that when I did do it, I could tell. I could tell a lot. So anyway, doing that. So now I'm completely off commercial toothpaste. Poison in a tube. Look up fluoride. It's so bad for you. Anyway, next is I got some recipes for deodorant. I'm not a huge sweater, so antiperspirant isn't a big deal for me. Okay. So, simple deodorant will be fine. And if I can not put some of the metals that are contained in deodorant and antiperspirant, then that's to me, that's good. So I'm making my own makeup, making my own toothpaste. You know, and this gets me in the habit of doing these things. So you know, after something happens, I don't have to worry about whether I've stored toothpaste or deodorant or shampoo or soap, because I make my own supply and it is sustainable. I mean, you know, I grow the stevia. I plan on growing stevia this year. Peppermints grow. The rice, granted, it's very tiny little bits at a time, but I can put it in my little grinder and powder it up if I want to. But I hope to get a mill. I hope to get a mill someday, a hand mill. They had them at the Amish store, and they was like, I want to say it was like $70. It was about the same as what was on Amazon, the one I've got picked for Amazon. So, speaking of Amazon, so also I ordered my soap mold, and I ordered a new stick blender, a metal one, and I ordered my loofah seeds, and the heating mat, they've got to be warmed as they sprout. So that should be coming Tuesday. But Monday is my portable ham radio. Now, a while back, I shared a post off of another site regarding the top 10 or whatever beginner ham radios. And even number one was only $70. It was something with my chickens. I will catch you in a bit. Damn it. Move. Jesus. Well, I guess it didn't end. I thought it ended. I'm sorry. My chickens were out here freaking out. It's pouring down rain. And Bailey took off on us last night. Little brat. And so I got the umbrella and I ran out there. It was just the chickens. They were pissed because there was another dog out there with Bailey that was a different dog, and I didn't see any dead chickens, so I don't think that was the issue. I think it was just, hey, there was somebody out here. Oh, so sorry that I left you alone. But it was an emergency. I thought it ended. I mean, when it says in stream, it should frickin' in stream. Anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Maybe I'll remember later. I'll get back on later when I can my chicken. Nana prep out.